She married a man who's my dad's dad, who really was just violent, abusive, angry, and an alcoholic. He broke most bones in my dad's body, threw her through windows. He'd make my dad and his brothers fight till someone could no longer stand up. And it's no wonder that my dad used drugs and alcohol to medicate the pain of his upbringing. On my mum's side, the other martyr of humanity that I came from, my mum's mum, again a beautiful lady, but she was sexually abused by her own dad her entire childhood. She married a man who was also abusive, mainly verbally and emotionally. At times he was an alcoholic, suffered with depression. Then my mum came from those two people. To make it even worse, my mum was walking home one day when she was 9 years old. And she walked through a vacant block and 3 teenage boys grabbed her and they raped her as a 9-year-old girl. And again, it's not hard to work out why my mum used drugs and alcohol to medicate the pain of her child. My mum and dad both come from families of 7, so 14 in all. Not one of those 14 people went to college to get a degree. Most of them didn't have businesses. And the reality is that's the mum that I've come from. And I remember it started to really affect me because I started to feel like I didn't belong on those platforms. I didn't belong in those circles. I was just doing my daily devotions. In other words, I was bringing my mum, insecurity, low self-worth, to the one that was sent. And I was digging down into his water, into the Word, and I read a text that I've read maybe 100 times. A text in Genesis where it says, "You were created in my image, in the likeness of God." And as I read those words, it was like they jumped off the page. Amen. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me. And he said, "Lucas, that might be the immediate humanity you come from, but let me tell you the original place you came from. You were created in my image. You can stand wherever I call you to stand. You can go wherever I call you to go." See, for me, it was just the mud that was stopping me from seeing, but I found the right piece of soap. See, I don't know what it is for you. Maybe you are struggling with an addiction and no one knows about it. Can I tell you, there's a piece of soap in here that says, when the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. It says that you are no longer a slave unto sin, but a slave unto righteousness. See, maybe for you it's insecurity or a low self-worth. There is so much soap in here that says you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are the apple of God's eye, that He lavished His love upon you. See, whether it's fear, worry, negativity, an offense, a physical sickness, a mental illness, there is a piece of soap in here. So often we focus on the dirt instead of focusing on the fact that He's provided the soap. My last point as I get ready to close. See, really this is just a picture of a devotional life. But the last point sort of answers the question, why does God want you to live like this? Why does He want you to keep coming to His Word? Keep coming in. Is it because He's a tyrannical God that says you better spend time with me? No, He's a loving dad. And He wants you to win. See, the third point is found in verse 8. And it says, if the guys can put it on the screen, it says, the neighbours and those who had seen Him before as a beggar will say, "Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg?" See, the reason God wants you to live this kind of life is because then you'll stop living like a beggar. See, the reality is God loves you no matter where you're at. But if you don't deal with that sin that's entangled your heart, then you're the one that lives like a beggar. If you don't deal with that offense, even though it was that person's fault, if you don't let go of that thing, then you're the one that lives like a beggar. If you don't deal with that negativity, that fear, that insecurity, that low self-worth, then you're the one that lives your whole life like a beggar. But Jesus Christ died on the cross so that you could be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, to rule and to reign, to have authority and dominion in every single area of life. Amen. You know what, I've met over ministering for such a long time, I've met people with every kind of story you can imagine. People that were horrifically sexually abused, people that have been raped, people that came from terrible backgrounds, people that have been through bankruptcies or divorces, every kind of through that, and you would never even know that they'd gone through that before, because they just kept taking their humanity to the one that was sent, digging down into the Word of God. I want to pray for people in just a moment. But before I do that in relation to the message, I wonder if you're here today and you've never ever given your life to Jesus. Maybe someone brought you along, just like me. I think it was 17 years ago. I walked into a church and I heard a man preach about the God that loved me so much that he actually went to a cross. He allowed humanity to nail into a cross. He died a horrific death to pay the price for all of my wrongdoing, all of my sins. So that if I accepted what he did, this God that loved me so much could come and live inside of my heart. I wonder if you're here today and you've never done that before. In just a moment, I'm going to get everybody to close their eyes and bow their heads. I'm going to count to 3, and if you've never done this before, I'm going to get you to lift your hand. I'll see your hand, and I'll include you